Usually, the concept is like this. In order to learn .NET Core, compulsory, you should have knowledge of ASP.NET, ASP.NET MVC, right? But my experience is you can avoid that and you can focus only on .NET Core, where when I start my practicals on .NET Core, that would be right from scratch. That is what I was talking about, UI technologies. Slowly we'll jump to framework and then we'll discuss about .NET Core, right? Which servers I use, what is the default server .NET Core provides, and .NET Core, different versions of .NET Core, what are the features they have introduced, all that stuff I'll be guiding you as I progress into subject. And remember, Web API, ADO.NET, these all are part of a subject. So they cannot be modules of .NET. So you can say like this, C#.NET, when we start, obviously we go with all basics first, then I target OOPS, then I go with something called ADO.NET. ADO.NET, that which is related with database programming. And in this ADO.NET, we have three modules to study. One is called connected model. Connected model, this is also called by name managed provider. Second is called disconnected model, right? And third is the most important. On the basis of it, your total .NET Core is dependent. That is called entity framework. Entity framework. Yeah. ADO.NET entity framework. That is also called EDM. Entity data model. And now remember, once we complete, and along with all these, somewhere at before ADO.NET, I'll have few sessions to give you some basic idea on the concept of SQL Server as a database. We don't go in depth of SQL Server. What is needed for ADO.NET, those things I'll highlight in SQL Server. That would be a database that we are going to study. Actually, this is for your knowledge, I'm saying. SQL Server, Microsoft has made it available into three modules. One is SQL Server Development, SQL Server Business Intelligence, and SQL Server Administration. And among all these, our focus will be on SQL Server Development. We don't touch anything related with BI. We don't talk anything related with administration. We focus only on development. In development, that too, not in depth of it, only what is important for ADO.NET, those things will highlight. Okay, this will be the pattern to go with our .NET. Okay, and now, as I already said you that we are going to first start with, yeah, you have any questions to ask me on this? Clear what I said? You have any questions? Clear with what I said? Yes, please. Students who are, the participants who are in online, you have any questions to ask me on this? Yes, go ahead, please. Okay. Now, keeping all these things in view, let's start with now introduction. And first we'll target what I said, C#.NET. And even before I come up with that introduction, something important to discuss is what is a software. Usually you describe like it is collection of programs. And how many it is classified with? It is classified into two types. One, packages. Two, languages. One is packages and second is what? Languages. This is how software gets classified. Yeah. Why am I talking on this part now? Because I already said you, we are first going to start a module called C#.NET, and C#.NET comes in a category of what? Language. C#.NET comes under a category of what? Language. For that reason, I started with this small introduction to give you some basic idea on what is software. Okay. So how do you define a software? Collection of programs. How many what is the classification of software? Two types, packages and languages. Okay. Before I describe them, let me give you some idea first. Examples. Then I'll talk about technical terms. Examples. Yeah, packages, these are all examples. MS Office, databases, games, these all are examples of packages. And in languages, C, C++, Python, Java, C#.NET, VB.NET, etc. These all are languages. But now question is, on what basis you are segregating them? On what basis you are saying that these examples are the examples of packages and these are the examples of languages? So what is that major point on which these two are segregated, on which these two are differentiated? So remember, when you talk about packages, this is how you describe it. Packages are softwares. Okay. Packages are softwares used to achieve specific tasks. Important for me is these last two words, specific task. Now you take an example of any package, we can very clearly justify that package is going to do what? Specific task. Like example you take. MS Word is there? MS Word. What for it is used? MS Word. What for it is used? Documentation. Documentation. Excel. Excel. Calculations. PowerPoint. Presentation. Work of MS Word, Excel cannot do. Work of Excel, PowerPoint cannot do. Right? Every package they developed in such a way, the package is going to do what? Specific task. The package is going to do specific task. Right? Databases are there. Databases. Any database you take, the purpose of database is to do what? Specific task. What? Store and manage data. Games specific task is only for playing, right? So like that, if you talk about any package, package is bound to achieve what? Specific task, right? Okay. When you talk about language, this is how you define a language. What? Medium of communication. Language is defined as what? Medium of communication. Communication with whom? With whom? With a device. With a device. What is a device? Computer. How do you communicate? How do you communicate? Through set of instructions. That is what you call program. Medium of communication with whom? With a device. Particularly which device I'm talking about? Computer. How do you communicate? Through set of instructions. What is that set of instructions called? Program. What instructions? Three types you should say. Three types. Unprocessed. Second, processing. Third, processed. Three types of instructions. So usually you call them as input, output, calculations, comparisons. Those things will be a part of. Those things will be part of. Unprocessed instruction, processing of instructions, and processed instructions. Those will be a part of what? Language. This is how you define a language. And now something important for me is types of languages. Types of languages. We don't need that actually. I make a list here. Important is one language that will spend some time. What is it? One, high level language, low level languages, middle level languages. This is just a classification. I'm not going to explain you much on those types of languages. That just you should have an idea about. I gave the list now. But something important for us is to have a knowledge on one special language called what? What language it is? Machine language. Every programming language at the end generates machine language. Any programming, C language at the end generates machine language. Python, you write a program, at the end generates machine language. Java, you write a program, at the end generates machine language. So compulsory, as a .NET programmer, you should have a very clear picture on a term called machine language. Machine language, yes. What is machine language? What do you mean by it? First point, technical point. It is also called what? Native code. Machine language is also called native code. Right? And another point. OS understandable code is native code. Whose understandable code? Operating systems understandable code is native code. And third most important point is native code differs from one OS to another OS. From one OS to another OS. It means native code of Windows will be different. Native code of Android will be different. Native code of Linux will be different. Native code of Unix will be different. Native code of Mac will be different. Native code of iOS will be different. Every operating system has its own native code. That is the reason I said machine language is called native code and native code is OS understandable code is called native code. Do we have native code even for C language? Yes, 100%. Without it, program doesn't go further. Even C language. Do we have even machine language in Java? Yes. Do we have machine language even in .NET? Yes. Everywhere. That is the reason I said this classification doesn't matter for us, but compulsory as a .NET programmer, you should be very clear on a term called machine language. Now, I'll give an example for you. I'll give you an example. For example, .exe, hope you understand this, right? Executable file. .exe file created in Windows OS. Understand clearly, please. Assume that you got to create one exe file, executable file. In which OS you created? Windows. Exe file created in which OS? Windows. And what did you do? You copied that exe file. Copied to where? Linux OS. Exe file created in Windows and you copy to what? Linux OS. What Linux will do? Simply Linux OS will not allow program execution. Why? Because it is created in Windows. If it is created in Windows, who understands that program? Only Windows understand. Where you are trying to run now? On Linux. You are created in Windows and you are trying to run it on what? Linux. Why it will not allow program execution? Because Linux native code is different. Windows native code is different. You understand? Linux OS will not allow program execution. Why? Since native code is deferred. Native code is deferred. That is an example for you to understand what actually the concept is. Okay. Now, going forward on this, remember, as far as programming is concerned, in IT industry, there are two job profiles for programmers. How many? Two job profiles, right? What are they? Listen, let me talk on this, then I'll take you to the next part. Types of programmers. Types of programmers. And as far as IT industry is concerned, as I just now said you that there are two job profiles, or there are two types of programmers that you would find in IT industry. One programmer is called system programmer. One programmer. What is the profile called? System programmer. Another programmer we have called application programmer. Two profiles. You have idea on this or not? Students are attending an online session. You heard about it? There are two types of job profiles called system programmer, application programmer. What they do, what actually happens in terms of these two programming profiles. So this is what the answer is. No. Listen carefully, please. System programmer, it means one who writes programs for a given hardware. A person who writes programs for hardware devices. For hardware devices. That programmer is called system programmer. One who writes program for a given hardware. Where he writes that program? Where he writes? What he uses to write that program? Which language he uses to write that program? Answer is, listen, one who writes programs for a given hardware using what? Assembly language. Using assembly language. You understand? What is that coding called? What is that coding called? Obviously, since he is writing a program for a hardware device, you call that programming as device driver programming. What do you call? Device driver programming. System programmer job is this one. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll give you an example so that you can very clearly understand the sentences what I do for system program. Yeah. So this is one routine process. This is something I'm not talking about technical. This is very general example I'm giving. My point now is when you connect pen drive, when you connect a pen drive, USB. When you connect a pen drive to your laptop, okay, what happens? Whenever you connect a pen drive to a laptop, what happens? First point, it will install drivers. It will install drivers. The drivers, what it installs is nothing but programs written by system programs. You understand? So the drivers installation will go. Two cases you may come across. Drivers sometimes successfully gets installed so that your device is ready to use. Sometimes drivers are not compatible. You may get a message that drivers are not installed and drivers may be failed, and because of that, the device which you're trying to use may not be available for your usage. And you get a notification, very clear notification that drivers are failed. So you cannot use that pen drive. You cannot use that pen drive. Do you understand? So what do you call that as? System programmer's job it is. You understand? If drivers are successfully installed, You 100% get a message, even in the notification panel, that so-and-so driver successfully installed, your so-and-so device is ready to use, and immediately drive is allotted for your device. Do you feel that drivers are installed only for pen drives? You connect printer drivers are installed. You connect scanner drivers are installed. Are you following me? You connect keyboard drivers are installed. You understand? Only after the installation of the drivers, it will go with what? Rest of the things to implement. You understand? You got my point, what I'm saying? About what system? Programmer. Right? Okay. Now, application. Asha, one more point. System programming related, one more point. You know, when driver program they develop, na, always remember drivers programs on whichever hardware device they develop, always it is hardware dependent. It is what? Hardware dependent. Because when they write programs for what do you call pen drive, obviously those programs will not be used for keyboard. Pen drive drivers will work only for pen drive. Keyboard drivers will work only for keyboard. Printer drivers will work only for it's hardware dependent. I'm not saying like you develop one driver, it will be available for all devices. I'm not saying that. Every driver, every device will have its own drivers. You got that? You understood what I said now? Comfortable? Right. Second type of system. What is it called? Application program. Application program. Application programmer. What does it mean? One who develops application for people to achieve their tasks. One who develops applications for people to achieve their tasks. This also will understand through example. Okay. See, right now, I'm using Notepad. I'm using Notepad. It's neither developed by me, it's neither developed by you, nor it is developed by this institute, nor it is developed by some other company. Rather, you say that Notepad has been developed as one application by one of the employees of Microsoft. Right? That application he made available for our usage. Someone developed, someone is using. Someone developed, he is not using. He developed for ourselves, for our usage. Do you feel this is the only application Windows has? You have one more, calculator. This is also one application, one program. Someone might have developed. We are using it in ready-made. Right? Asha. One more point also I'll explain. You know, today, every bank around the globe provides you online facility. Online facility. Any bank you take, any bank, HSBC Bank, HDFC Bank, SBI, SBI, ICICI, any bank, around the globe, I'm saying, around the globe, any bank you take, it is providing you with what? Online facility, right? So that online facility they are providing through their website now. They are providing through their website. That online facility they are providing through your mobile application. Do you feel that website on which that banking is providing you online facility, is that website developed by bank employees? Do you really feel that bank employees have developed that website? No, it is programmers like us. Programmers like us. We develop that website. We develop that website, but we are not working on it. We develop, bank employees are working on it. Bank customers are using that application. You understand now, right? Difference. So application programmer means one who develops applications for people to achieve their tasks. You got my point. Now, keeping these two programmers' profile, I highlight what it is. Note .NET is used for application programming, but not for what? System programming. We are not going to have, at least I'm saying I'm not going to deal any hardware coding in .NET. And .NET is not meant for that. .NET is meant for what? Application. Applications you can develop. What applications you can develop later we'll talk. But first you be clear now that .NET is not used for hardware programming. .NET is used for what? Application programming, but not for system programming. Comfortable? Now remember, keeping these things in view, this is what my experience says. Before I come up with introduction to C#.NET, that actually you call introduction to Visual C#.NET. Compulsory as a .NET programmer, you should be very thorough and very clear on these two important terms. Compulsory. If you know complete C#, if you know complete .NET, if you don't describe these terms properly, this is what I have noticed when I am being an interview panel member into many companies. People got rejected because of that point. You understand what I'm saying? What are those two terms? This is what my point is. Important term. What is it? One, platform and framework. Platform and framework. Right? First, I'll talk about platform. But once we are done, I'll come up with introduction to C#. From there, your subject begins. Right? I very clearly said you in the beginning itself, this is not my first batch. I almost completed around 100 plus batches on .NET from past 15 to 16 years on the training of .NET. Apart from this student level training, I very clearly said you that some of the companies which I regularly visit to train their employees on .NET. That is the reason in the introduction part itself, I very clearly said you like last month, back to back, I completed 2 trainings with Science Limited. Scientist, there's a company in Hyderabad. Fine. Let's begin with the term called platform. And before I start, listen. Platform. See, first point. In interviews, if they say, what is platform? And if you begin your answer, begin your answer, that platform is OS. Platform is OS. Believe me, that point itself gives you a very big negative mark on your interview. First question, first point, you answered wrong, over. Let me make you clear. Not necessary. Platform should be always OS. You understand what I'm saying, right? Not necessary. Platform should be always what? OS. No. So let me describe them. I won't talk with technical terms. I won't talk. Introduction, I won't talk. First, I'll do one thing. I'll give you example. Refer to .png file. Through picture, I'll explain you. Through picture. You first be clear on the picture. Then I'll explain you what is platform, technical terms. Just like that, you can understand the definition. And after giving the definition, you only say me in the definition anywhere, am I talking about OS? First, you see the picture, be clear on the picture, then I'll come with the technical terms, then we'll proceed with next. Right? So let's start. here. Students are attending online. Are you all comfortable with? Am I clearly audible for everyone? Please do respond fastly so that you can continue with the session. Use chat panel, please. Use chat panel. If you have an issue with your mic, at least use chat panel and confirm me so that even I would have a clear information at my end that you are all listening to me. Everyone I'm asking. Fahad. Okay. Everyone. Venki, Ahmed, Mubin. Okay, Varun. Shashi. Okay, fine. So let's talk on platform. Three. Let me describe. This is first layer. Okay, first layer of any system. Listen carefully, please. First layer of any system. What it is? Hardware. What do you call? Hardware. Yes. On that hardware, now I'll talk about second layer. Second layer. Yeah. Second layer is operating system. OS. OS. Where you are installing OS? Is it not on hardware? You are installing OS on hardware only, no? Without hardware, OS cannot be installed. Are you following my point? It means, can I say like this? For OS, hardware is platform. Are you following my point? Whenever you want to install operating system, what is needed? Hardware is needed. Acha, in your smartphone, do we have hardware in it or not? Mobile में, do we have hardware in mobile or not? Do we have processor in the mobile? Processor. Do we have RAM in the mobile? Do you have like hard disk kind of disk in the mobile? Yes or no? Right? Laptop mein, do we have all the things? Desktop mein, do you have all the things? Tablet mein, you have all the things. Then only operating system. Android. Where do you install? On hardware. Windows, where do you install? On OS, right? On hardware. When you talk about Windows, we install on hardware. Linux on hardware. It means for any operating system, hardware is what? Platform. And obviously, if an interviewer asks you what is platform, you answer it as operating system, then who will talk about hardware? There gets your interview failed. And one more interesting thing, hardware is not the platform only for operating system. Hardware is also a platform for your assembly code. Just now, system programming, hardware coding. I said drivers that you write are hardware dependent. You understand? So I can call like assembly code. Which code? Assembly code. It means now hardware is a platform for whom? For whom? Assembly code as well as for OS. Third layer. Third layer. What it is? What is the third layer? Remember, for C++, for C++, for both languages, for C++ code, listen, for C++ code, OS is the platform. For C++, OS is platform. For OS, hardware is platform. Are you following me? Right? Achha. This is over one point. Now I'll talk about extension, fourth layer. Fourth layer. And fourth layer, I'll explain in comparison, so that becomes easy for you. Yes. One, .NET code. On the other end, Java code. .NET code. Here, Java code. For comparison, I'm saying, for comparison. If you are aware of Python, Python. If you are aware of something else, that will be your language. So now I'm talking about .NET code. On the other hand, I said what? Java. Now listen carefully. Whenever we write a program in Java, or whenever you write a program in .NET, that program OS cannot understand. You understand? Whenever we write a program in Java, whenever we write a program in .NET, who cannot understand? OS. OS cannot understand that program directly. You understand? For that reason, for Java code, initially Sun Microsystems has introduced one special platform. Microsoft for .NET code has introduced one special platform. So to differentiate them, I just would apply for your reference with some different color so that you could understand it clearly. One is .NET framework. Second is JRE. You understand? What does it mean now? You write a program in Java, okay? Hand over to JRE. You write a program, hand over that program to who? JRE. JRE will take that program to OS. OS will run that program on hardware. .NET point of view. Write a program in .NET. Give it to .NET framework. .NET framework will take the program to your OS. OS will run that program on hardware. I conclude from this picture, total. On this picture, I'm saying, how many platforms? In this picture, total, how many platforms? Four platforms. What are they? Hardware, OS, .NET framework, JRE. Four. .NET framework, JRE, OS, hardware. Now just imagine, interviewer asking you about what is platform. You simply wind up your answer saying that platform is OS. Where you're talking about only OS, you're talking about four platforms in this. So remember, keeping this architecture, keeping this example in view. Now I describe what is platform. Answer is, listen, platform is an environment to develop and deploy, execute application. This is the definition of platform. What do you call? Platform is an environment to develop as well as to deploy. Deploy is what? Execute applications. This is for your knowledge, I'm saying. The content what I'm going to cover in .NET for our course, I'm saying, for our total course, whatever the .NET content I'm going to cover, that would be right from scratch till you go advanced topic. Only with the training, with the training sessions, what we are going with the .NET, with the training knowledge, you can easily have. If you are already experienced, that is different story. If you're planning to make your career into IT with some other, experience, a kind of fake experience, you can easily manage 2 years of experience only on training and selling. And definitely, this is such a subject that requires a quite very genuine practice. Rest of all, you leave it on. Whatever soft copy, videos, everything management will provide for you. Notes I'll provide, videos they will share. The only thing you do is, well, go with practice. Definitely you have opportunities on top forever. This is one fundamental point. For that reason, introduction class itself, I have explained you about this platform. New to programming, asked about platform, this is the definition. Okay, clear now? Comfortable now? You're clear with everything what I said, right? Okay. Second part also, second. What did I say? Second part? Framework. 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 Okay. After this framework topic, we'll wind up the session. Okay. Now, framework also will do same. I won't explain you direct technical terms. That may put you in confusion. I'll take example. First, you understand example properly. Once you are comfortable with the example, we'll push example aside. We'll fix our definition. You understand? This is reference I'm saying, this example I'm saying. When you construct a building, and on that building, when you want to have a slab, when you want to have a slab, you directly cannot keep slab. So for that, you need support. Supporter. You got different ways they give a support to slab. They keep, iron rods. They'll create a surface, right? Iron, like with a metal surface, they'll create. On that metal surface, they'll keep, that mixture of concrete, cement, everything. Then after keeping a slab on that surface, on that, iron surface, after 15, 21 days, 30 days, once they find that that slab got attached to your complete setting, then they remove what? Support they remove, slab gets fixed. Here, picture is support. Definition is slab. Example, comfortable, remove, hold this. Hold, definition. Example, comfortable, hold definition. Same way, framework, I won't discuss the technical terms. I'll give you example. First, be clear with the example, then slowly we'll get into the next part. Shall I come back? Right. Writing a program, not only in .NET, anywhere. Writing a program needs some instructions to write. You have to write instructions, input instructions, processing instructions, output. You have to write or not? Then only that becomes program, right? So now my point is that program which you are writing is related with construction. Program construction. That program construction, let us link with construction of a building. Construction of a building. Construction of program, construction of building. Okay. Now remember, whenever you want to construct a building, you have two choices. One choice is you can construct a building on a plain surface, or you can construct a floor on a ready-made building. So you are constructing one what? Floor. Plain surface in the sense? Land. Plot. Plain surface. Right? And what is the other one I'm saying? You want to construct one floor. When you're constructing one floor, it is to understand that you're constructing one floor on a ready-made building. Means building is already there. On that building, you're going to construct what now? One floor. Could you find what I'm saying? Could you figure out? Right. Now you say me, when you want to construct on a plane surface, when you construct a building on the plane surface, and when you construct one floor on a ready-made building, do you feel the time-taking process will be same for both of them? Time-taking process for the construction will be same. If you are constructing a building on a plane surface, that may take around 1 year. Example. 1 year, right? Because that construction includes right from basement level, basement. You understand? So first you have to dig pillars, then you have to come to basement level. From there, you should go with wall construction, then to your beam construction, from there to slab construction, plastering, curing, then slowly building will take one shape. Then comes we go with interior designing and all. Then that will take around 1 year, 1.5 years. What is the other way? Floor construction means what? Building is already there. You're just constructing one floor. That may hardly take, say, for example, 6 months. 6 months. Where 6 months? Where 1 year? Plain surface, 1 year. Building is already there. On that, you're constructing just one floor. Takes how much? 6 months. You understand? Now imagine, after 1 year, that building is ready, plain surface building is ready. After 6 months, that floor is also ready. And what did you do? You rented them. You gave that plain surface building also for rent. That one floor which you constructed, that also you gave for rent. People started staying in it. I mean, those are occupied. Those are occupied. People are staying there. When people are staying in that building, assumption, something happened that plain surface constructed building is there, that got collapsed. Here, one floor you constructed, that is also collapsed. Now you answer me. Where am I full responsible? Where am I not responsible? Where people will catch me, where people cannot catch me. In which scenario I'm answerable to the people, in which scenario I'm not answerable to the people. Plain surface, it is constructed total in my supervision. Basement level, I was there. When they were digging for pillars, I was there. When they were constructing walls, I was there. When slab was going on, I was there. When plastering was going on, I was there. When they were curing, I was there. In every small point, I was available. One floor I constructed now. If that building is collapsed, people cannot catch me, because when that building was constructed, I was not there. I just constructed one floor. Do you understand the point, right? So keeping this example in view, now I will describe. What is the description we have is, listen. Framework, definition. Ready to use. Collection of classes and interfaces. Using which we can develop our applications. Definition. Ready to use. What did you say? Collection of classes and interfaces. You are supposed to use those ready-made classes and interfaces and develop your own application. Now you say me the definition what I gave, it is suitable to which scenario of these? The definition which I gave you now, the definition is suitable to which example of that construction? Floor construction or plain surface? Floor. Floor. It means ready to use. Ready to use. Building was ready. You just constructed one floor. I said that ready to use what? Collection of classes and interfaces. Microsoft has provided thousands of classes and interfaces. Because of that ready-made classes and interfaces, our already 60% burden is gone. How much? 60%. The only part which is remained for us is 40%. That you have to put efforts. Clear? Understood? So this was an example to make you understand. This is the definition. Okay? Plus keeping all these basics concepts of my today's session. Next, we are going to start, not today, tomorrow I'll take up, introduction to Visual C#.NET. From here, your subject begins. Right? Fine. So from my end, I'm done with the session. You have still